All right, hello everyone. So let's start again. Let's see where we're at. This is Tuesday. Now remember with gold, I said we have to be careful because Monday is also a swing day and Friday was a swing day as well. So Monday could have been a follow-up and pretty much that's what happened. Despite the fact that it was up here, that if you sold here, you either had a little bit or you just got stopped out here in the Asia session. But this one worked out nice. This one worked out nice. This one worked out up there. But if you sold up here, obviously, that didn't. But at the end of the day, we know that the trend is going up on this one. Now we have a different setup. If the market pulls back into a good buy kiss at 62, that is 62, 2,730. It's a bit down there. All right, so if we do pull back, is that going to be a, let me just double check. That's a bit far back down. Well, that's already done, 2,737. Yeah, there's not much else to do. That blue line is 62. And then the red one is 60. 2724. Is here. All right, so not much to do here unless it comes back down here into this zone. Sweeping stops. As you can see, we've got the expansion of range going forward, so that's fine. So we're probably going to head up into that zone. Okay. If it does pull back, where else can it pull back? It's already broken out of the range. So if we come back into here, the previous day high, or there, okay, that's the previous day high, that's the previous week's high. Okay, so if we come down, we can go back up again. Okay, also coming back down into the opening or the weekly pivot is also an opportunity to go back up, but you can see this is a rectangle formation here. Okay, so any pullback into that zone is okay to go up. It's done a good buy kiss here actually, as you can see, pretty much. But you know, if it does come back, going up looks like the legitimate way to go. If doing so, these are your target 2767 and 75. Also on the PST, we're already at 71, which is 2762, and then we've got 2777. So 2777 is there. All right, so that's pretty much where we're at. 2762 is already pretty much done. Okay, on the daily, as you can see here. All right, so if you're using a PST, obviously, mark them in. On the weekly, market still has room. It could push all the way into this HCL1, I think that is, isn't it? Yeah, LCL1. LCL1 is too far out. It's quite high, so it doesn't have a price on it. But you can watch it in the new version. If I get round to it, we'll have values for extreme levels as well. Okay, but at the end of the day, that's how it's looking. On the monthly, yeah, it's also at extreme levels, as you can see. So our best bet is going with the daily. All right, so that's that. Let's take a look at euro dollar. Now with the euro dollar, remember yesterday was a swing day, and I did say you can also wait for this day to happen, and this was a daily PST level, remember? So market going up, now we're going sideways. Now if the market picks up again at swing hours or trading hours, we don't mind going. All right, so at the end of the day, the gap here is being filled in, and what do we have? 715, I think. That's your 715 there. So this place is not a bad spot at all. This was a target zone yesterday, so if you went up, took profit, you should have been okay. Remember, yesterday our bias was to the upside because of the swing day. We'd like to follow this in that direction, so we have an impulse wave. All right, so from the impulse where we've done the 50, it's a trading hour here as well. There's a bit of a gap here, so if it does pull back into a trading hour, going long again is not a bad idea in my opinion. On the weekly as well, we could come back up into that 45, 44, 08, 50, 60 zone, and that red line is 08, 80, which I've marked in before. So on the way up, you can put this 08, 50 as a target as well. 0850 right there. All right, so that's a target there. So going long from here is not a bad idea either. You could do that, no problemo. Okay, and then we could have a flow day pushing into there. SB 500. Let's take a look. SB 500, as you can see, we're in a bit of a dilemma here. Okay, so we don't know what's going on. But remember, Monday and Tuesday was swing days, right? So that's the week from last week, and this is where we're at. Okay, and we had, what do we have? That day yesterday, touching right onto the weekly. All right, pretty much. What's the weekly? If you're using your PST as well, you should be on top of it, which is your blue 66 at 5846. 5846. That's a weekly level. All right, right on there. Okay, so also yesterday's hours, if you plot them up there in the New York session, what would you have had? Let's take a look. 430 is there. All right, 430 is there. 330 is there. So that's your 315. 330 is there. Market pushing up. 430 is there. Market pushing down. And pretty much coming into, what did we have? 9 o'clock. Yep, 9 to 10:20. Let's see where that is. 9 into that zone. So at the end of the day, that's a weekly level. If you're using, like I said, if you use the PST, you should be all right because you're just getting good prices. Okay, so the blue line, the red line, selling at the right price at the right time, or buying if we're going up. Same thing. Now, if the market decides to pop its head down, we could be heading into 47.5780 on the daily. 5780 is there. All right, we talked about this level yesterday as well. Now we're there. 5780 is on the daily, which is, as you can see, there. Today, if you want to sell, 60.5841. So 5841 is here. If it pops its head back up into there, selling may not be a bad idea from there. If it's a trading hour, and selling is okay because we had Monday or Tuesday, remember? So if we head up into there again, that's the weekly, that's the daily, right? So that's daily for today, that's weekly. So this zone is okay. Remember we said we'll fill in the gaps. That was a gap fill yesterday happening. All right, so pretty much filled it all up. All right, so if that's the case, so selling down might not be a bad idea. If the whole week starts to push it down, we could go down here. If the market breaks above 68, don't stand in front of it, obviously. 5890. Okay, so if you get stopped out, just relax, see what's going to happen. Okay, because that is the resistance on a weekly as well. All right, so if it breaks above these levels, it could push into there. So be mindful. That's going to be another sell location if we get up there. Okay, because that's the resistance there. Okay, so we're in a bit of a dilemma here because the breakout looks legit on the upside and not legit on the downside, but that's a possibility. Okay, so in any case, if the market does raise its head up, pushing down is not a bad idea. Or if you want to sell, let's do this at these levels. Also the daily pivot is good because there are no gaps here. If it comes up into a level, selling down is okay in my opinion. Now Dow Jones is a different story. I'll tell you why that is. And I did say yesterday Dow Jones might be a better bet because Dow Jones had a low level, and with Dow Jones we don't have a Monday or Tuesday, we have a Monday. So all right, so this is Monday, as you can see. So the market going up from here was like logical, and we have a breakout, as you can see. So Dow Jones yesterday was a bit more clean with respect to the bias to the upside, simply because we were already down. Okay, now there's still a gap here that the market might want to fill in, which is okay. So if the market pushes back down to fill in that gap, you want to look at 42, which is your good buy case, 42,090, and 41,921 is your support there. So both of them will be okay to buy on the 42 and the 39 if it matches an hour. All right, so 42,090 is going to be there. All right, so if the market dips back down here, then we can get rid of that. On the daily, that's how it was. On the weekly, let's take a look. And on the weekly there, you see it's done the targets there. So yesterday was like logical for it to be an up day. Okay. If you want to continue to up move, then I wouldn't do it until it came and closed in the gaps here. Let it do that, and then you can. If the market goes up first, because Tuesday is also a possible swing day for the indices, and seeing that SP 500 and Nasdaq are on the upper end, selling may not be a bad idea. Okay, if it goes up first. Let's take a look. Where from, you might say. Match it to your PST targets, such as 51.53, being 42.567, 42.658, right time, right price. If it goes even higher into 55.56, you can still match it. Just match time and price. If you want to sell it off, you're going to have to do that. It might just stop sweep these and then sell off as well. Okay, because that's a nice fall, which you might be looking at going back up again and then selling off. Now, if I was to take this like a shoulder, head, shoulder, that shoulder part is going to be 42.620, okay, which is pretty close to 42.658. Okay, so if it does touch up there and does that little second shoulder, selling down is not a bad idea. Then you're going to have to get rid of this, because if that does happen, the neck should bring us all the way down into here, because it'll want to close the gap if it comes down into that zone as well. So you'll have to put this in there. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. With the Nasdaq, now remember, Monday, Tuesday, just like the SP 500 on this one. So let's take a look at the weekly as usual. All right, so that's your top. Now, I talked about this one. I said this could end up being a double top, so be mindful. All right, and we're in a sandwich zone here. That 65 can be a target for a sell-off at 27.48 on the weekly, which we put in yesterday. Okay, so this zone. But Monday and Tuesday, swing day, and markets at the highs. Okay, so this looks like a good setup. As you can see, the market is closing below that trend line. It's not going up, it's just sweeping stops and then closing below, right? So, and I did say yesterday, be careful for this breakout. Don't stand in front of it if it keeps pushing up. So, but because Monday and Tuesday is a swing day, selling from the zone may not be a bad idea, just like I said with the Dow Jones and the SP 500. So, is there a place to sell at? Well, we can do that daily pivot or the opening. If the New York market wants to go up, touch, okay, high of yesterday, let me just do this. Okay, why is that opening over there? Okay, that's a bit weird. Let me just do this. Because that purple line should be down here. There we go. All right, so here we are. That's your purple line there. Let's refresh. Sometimes platforms do go nutty, so you have to refresh them up. Okay, here we are. So if the market goes back up into the daily, it's also okay to kind of push down. And where did they sell off yesterday? Here, there's a bit of a gap here. So if it does go back into this manipulation bar slightly above the daily pivot, I think it's still sellable. And selling is okay at trading hours into that down zone. If you want to target anything, okay, that's a bit far down, but you can still target it. Not a problem. 20,016. And that 45 level is 20,057. Okay, so that's on the daily, 20,057. Let's do that. $20,057 is there. All right. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. All right, with Bitcoin, remember we don't have a swing day yet, okay? And we talked about this being bullish. I did say if it comes back down, you can go back up. Let's take a look at the daily, see how that panned out. Okay, it didn't come back down, just broke out, which is okay still. And there you go. All right, in this zone. Okay, now, like I said yesterday as well, you might want to buy, but do it with a smaller lot size. Why? Because it's a sell-off location. 71,641, 71 there, 71,009, and also I think that was a weekly, wasn't it? No, we didn't have a weekly, but we still got room to go up into that LCL1 line. Okay, so the market can still go into 74, and on the daily, here we go, we got room to push up. Okay, so the PST targets, as you can see, are okay. Now, yesterday, I just want to make sure if it pulled back or not. Let's just double check. Those were the targets. The market came back. Yesterday, hours. That was 435, so 430 would have been there. 330 would have been around there, I guess. There, okay. And then pull back into 620. What do we have? 8. We had 9 o'clock, didn't we? 8:50, 9 o'clock. There. Okay, so there. So this is a bit chop. Yeah, nothing to do here. Only in the morning session, if you went in at 10:15, now even that wouldn't have done it. Nope. The only thing you could have done here is 4:50, which is way before. There you go, 4:50, which is way before the video. All right. So this is, if you took astrology from me, you could have come up with this hour. Why is this important? Because it's got 2 asteroids in there with making an aspect, plus the 8 o'clock Okay. Also, that would have been kind of like before the video, I think. 8 o'clock, 8:05 actually. Right there. Now that would, yeah, that's the trick. I did say yesterday in the comments that this aspect at 8:05 could determine the whole day, and it looks like that's what it has done. All right. And coming at the target's nice and easy. So no big deal. If you're using your PSTs, you should be always getting your targeting pretty much correct in any case. Okay. What to do with this? Well, you can't do anything now. You can wait for a swing day. Okay. If you bought yesterday, you can take your profit, or you can keep a partial position still open and just follow it through. If you want to go with the flow, if it comes back into 69, let's say, I'm just going to get rid of that, into the 69 to daily pivot, or back into there, you see that, is there a gap? No, there isn't actually. So what you can do, if it comes back down into a trading hour and you want to go long with it, I think that's okay to do so. Okay, other than that, don't buy the tops, obviously, like I always say. So buying the pullback here, around here, is okay, because this is where the breakout happened, and the manipulation for that breakout is where the daily pivot is. So matching this to the daily pivot and an hour to go up is a reasonable trade.